Star Wars The Last Jedi does not find important what you may find important. The Last Jedi does a good job subverting viewer expectations. Snoke was this super powerful being, and he was supposed to be one of the most powerful Force wielders ever, and now he's just dead. Wait, who said he was this super powerful dude? Why do you think that?
It was I who breached your minds.
He's one of the most interesting characters we've had in a Star Wars film by far. I think Rian Johnson did a fantastic job. And then the fight with the Praetorian Guard was so insanely well done.
She just kicked 3 people with 1 kick. Now you see it? And now it's gone.
That's not the Luke Skywalker I know, or Luke wouldn't act like that. Really? Really, it's been 30 years since Return of the Jedi. 30 years! In the story, Luke is 30 years older. In 30 years, come back to this video and tell me that you're still the same person. Hell, I'm not the same person I was a week ago. We change, we evolve. So why do some folks want the characters they love, especially characters in an ever-changing saga, to remain a snapshot of their former selves? My favorite aspects of the film are how the characters, old and new, were handled. I love the unpredictability of the movie. Luke doesn't have to act the way you want him to. No, Rey doesn't have to be what you want her to be. Oh, you think this is uncharacteristic of me, Mr. Audience Member? Go write some fan fiction. While I initially found a lot of the humor to be off-putting, after multiple viewings, I've realized it's relatively subdued.
Hi, I'm holding for General Hugs. Leia has an urgent message for him about his mother.
Was there more humor in The Last Jedi than normal? Maybe. I'd love for someone to come up with a quantifiable measure of humor from film to film. I think that would be interesting. Then again, scratch that idea. Just have fun. Doesn't matter what we want. It doesn't matter what the hell we think is important. Things that are initially dismissed by audiences and critics sometimes end up being moments everyone loves. There are things we like, and there are things we don't like in Star Wars, but nothing ruins Star Wars. Nothing destroys what came before, or the movies you liked once upon a time ago, or even characters or stories that you grew up loving. Nothing is ruined. That's hyperbolic dum-dum talk. I'm pretty 50-50 on The Rise of Skywalker. I disliked it more than I liked it. You are Broom Boy. I am Broom Boy. Except that you're not going to love or even like everything. You don't have to love or even like everything. That expectation is unrealistic. You're gonna be let down and disappointed often if you navigate this life with those expectations. Don't be an entitled, whining f***head. Was Luke Skywalker out of character in The Last Jedi? I don't think that question even matters. It has no meaning. Maybe it works on the internet to stir up some outrage and feign anger, but it is transparent, dumb rage bait. Compared to what? Compared to a version of himself 30 years in the past? Luke, a farm boy from a small town on a nothing planet, is able to pilot an X-Wing with no training, but be super effective in the dogfight and use magic to drop torpedoes into a little space station hole. The way Luke was portrayed in The Last Jedi was amazing. Luke becomes a super powerful Force user just after a day or two of training with Yoda. Oh, okay. You expect me to believe this? Who is the Emperor? Where did he come from? Why is he in charge? How is he in charge? Where is his base? Who are his parents? Where is he communicating from? Why does Darth Vader follow him? Who is he? Come on! This is screenwriting 101. It was risky, and it was well done. So now bad guys can shoot Force lightning out of their fingertips? Stop adding stuff to the Force, you're ruining my Star Wars! If the Emperor could sense Luke's feelings, he could basically read people's minds, right? Then how could he not sense that Darth Vader was gonna throw him down a big space station hole? Screenwriting 101! He's not a superhero. Luke Skywalker is not a superhero. R2-D2 launches Luke's lightsaber in the air, and Luke just happens to catch it. Luke's aunt and uncle were murdered a few hours ago, and Leia's entire home planet was destroyed a few hours ago, and now everyone is smiling at the end and handing out medals. Screenwriting 101. 1 out of 10 stars. Shit sucks. So is Rey a Mary Sue? Like so many people have been saying since The Force Awakens? I mean, does it matter? I think she's a sympathetic character, a fun character, a compassionate character. She's more complex than most people give her credit for, especially when you look at the characters that some of those people actually like. Nothing is sacred within the universe of Star Wars. The Millennium Falcon, sacred to you, not sacred to anyone in the story.
Hey, you awake?
Yeah, I just got a funny feeling, like I'm not gonna see her again.
And if you, as an audience member, have such a baby blanket-like attachment, you know how sometimes a word or a phrase just gets repeated over and over again, turning people into parrots? They're saying the thing, but the vast majority of the people that are saying it don't really know what the thing they're saying means. You must be doing damage control. These parroted phrases actually do harm. Nothing is sacred within the universe of Star Wars. If we start letting our external admiration and love for objects and characters seep into the inner workings of the story itself, then every Star Wars movie would be a YouTube fan film. The silliest idea that I can think of is two people having a legitimate debate about which movie they like better. Aha, I liked this movie better. Aha, I liked this movie better. Aha, that movie was good. Aha, that movie was bad. With layered themes and unpredictability. I cannot think of a bigger waste of time than debating art. So is Rey a Mary Sue? Who gives a shit? Little Anakin Skywalker flew a spaceship inside of a big donut spaceship while wearing a kid-sized helmet. Who cares? He looks down at his hand, throws his lightsaber away in a moment of defiance, both internally fighting his own feelings and externally directed at the Emperor. Luke's moment inside of Ben's room, as described in The Last Jedi, is so insanely similar to that. I think the cultural commentary and political messaging found in Star Wars films now is way less. If you want your characters to fit inside of a nicely defined box that appeals to you and what you predict they should do, then go play with some action figures. I can't believe that people are complaining about the super subtle messaging in the new films.
Stick to your post and follow my orders.
I bet if the internet was around back in 1981, there would be a big old hashtag boycott. It's dumb. It's dumb talk. Were they too young to recognize the political overtones and commentary when they watched the previous films? I mean, that could be, right? Maybe. That's a pretty good guess. You either ride the ride or hop off. Like what you like and don't like what you don't like. And I try to imagine a future where they're complaining about a diverse cast. I mean, can you imagine that? I didn't like the Canto Bight sequence whatsoever, but I didn't have a problem with the messaging. Really? You're gonna have a problem with animals? What is science fiction? Science fiction is a way to comment on modern culture through the abstract. That is what science fiction is. I've seen people say things like, Disney cares more about diversity than story, which is, again, just doesn't make sense to me. It's a nonsense statement. One of the most cringy and eye-rolling things I've heard recently is people complaining about L3, the new droid from Solo. I really haven't heard anyone complain about the fact that she's like a programmed female droid, which is good, but I have heard a lot of people saying and parroting the idea that she's this propaganda piece uber lefty droid. Why is this?
You need anything?
Equal rights?
Why the fuck am I even talking about this? People are dumb. People are silly. I can't believe you like that movie. Did you know the president of the company that made the movie said a thing that I did not like? Why are people so up in arms this time around that L3 wants some freedom? It's weird, man. It's very strange to me. Can you imagine refusing to see a movie because someone associated with the production had a different political view than you? Wouldn't C-3PO remember all of this? Oh yeah, just have someone say wipe his mind. LOL, Screenwriting 101. Hashtag RIP Star Wars. Keep politics out of Star Wars. I do not want to have your agenda shoved down my throat. I will not be watching any more of your propaganda. Hashtag RIP Star Wars. Hashtag not my Star Wars. For years on this channel, I have railed against fan appeasement, and whenever I do, I actually lose quite a bit of subscribers. It's interesting. The phrase what fans want, or give the fans what they want, these are nonsense phrases to me. They make no sense. They have no starting point. They have no benchmark. They don't matter. What do fans want? Fuck if I know. I can tell you what I want. What I think is the most important part. The unshackled artistic freedom I mentioned earlier. To me, that is by far the most important thing. I needed a shave. I needed a shower. But then, a savior. I am proud to be working with Dollar Shave Club. Dollar Shave Club airdropped some supplies to me on that godforsaken desert planet. Thank you, Dollar Shave Club. Come on. Don't be disingenuous. Luke building a set of Force-sensitive mech armor. Rey says, cool mech armor. Then Luke puts it on and says, thanks, I've been working on it a while. It's Force-sensitive. Then we see 1,000 First Order TIE fighters come down from space and start shooting at Luke and Rey. And then Luke gets into his mech armor and becomes Mecha Luke and shoots down 1,000 TIE fighters with quantum lasers and heat-seeking missiles, and is really fucking badass. And then he stands up and screams, I am a Jedi, like my father before me, and whips out 16 lightsabers and starts fighting stormtroopers that land on the island. I wake up at 5 a.m. every morning, brush my teeth with the Superba toothbrush, which is Romanian for beautiful, shave my face with the executive razor in the Dr. Carver's Easy Shave Butter, wash my body, and shampoo my hair with what I think is the best smelling thing in all of these sets, the Sage and Black Pepper shampoo. Then we cut to a cloning facility and see that the First Order has millions of Emperor clones. Then Luke grabs Rey's lightsaber and says, that's my lightsaber. I love it. I have many great memories of that lightsaber. And Rey says, okay, here's your lightsaber back. And then Luke ignites his lightsaber and yells, I have been waiting for this day for a long time. Shower, oral, and even butt wipes. And if you've ever tuned into one of my live streams, you've no doubt heard me talk about butt wipes in my United States Navy deployment. Get clean. And Luke puts on his mech armor and fucks them all up cause he's fucking badass. Then the camera zooms in on Qui-Gon Jinn's Force Ghost and he says, Snoke is Darth Plagueis. Welcome to the sandbox of Star Wars creation. You can make anything you want. Your only limitation is your imagination. Except you can't do that though. Hey, you can't do that. No, but there's laws. You're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to do that. Kylo Ren Ben Solo is Han Solo's son and Princess Leia's son. That's canon. We all love it. We all appreciate it. You're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to do that. When does canon, when does a strict adherence to details pump the brakes on creative freedom? But strictly adhering to canon and nothing else and hamstringing yourself creatively based off of some arbitrary rules that came before, that feels so soul-crushing. You know, I want filmmakers, authors, you name it, to have as much creative freedom as they possibly can. One of the best examples in modern Star Wars of kind of my mindset, to clarify it a little bit, is the Holdo maneuver. I thought the Holdo maneuver was great. It was a moment of self-sacrifice, and the way it was executed on screen was goddamn beautiful. But then you got people saying, it broke the laws of the Star Wars universe. Hey. But how did it make you feel? How did it make you feel? It broke the laws of the Star Wars universe. Jesus Christ, I have zero desire to view any of the franchises that I love through some encyclopedic kaleidoscope of do and do nots. And what laws are we talking about here? What canon, what details, what complaints? I've never been a details-oriented Star Wars viewer. By that I mean, I've never been one to really get that excited about a new lightsaber or ship design. A Death Star solar eclipse. A Death Star solar eclipse. Come on! How is everyone not freaking out about this insanely awesome shot? Hashtag Death Star Eclipse. If something like the Holdo maneuver in all of its visual awesomeness breaks the quote-unquote laws of the universe, then hey, let's break some more laws. This is all just details. Again, I've never been a hyper details-oriented Star Wars viewer.
Hang on a second. What the fuck?
Oh god, what's happening?
How is this not details?
Oh, Jay.
The font of the letter R. I've never been much of a guy to care about details.
I like how he's gone to the point
where
where I'm like, maybe you're looking too closely at it.
It's why I wasn't upset about the Holdo maneuver, like some people were.
How is that details?
That is not a detail. That destroys the enemy's fleet.
This saves everyone's lives.
This
like
small detail.
This tiny detail.
I prefer to watch Star Wars movie reviews from like Chris Stuckman or Jeremy Johns. A detective board spread out in front of you with red yarn connecting various details to make sure things are in line. And that kind of bums me out. It breaks the laws of the Star Wars universe. But how did it make you feel?
It made me feel feelings. Oh my goodness, he's feeling unironically. Oh my goodness, it breaks all the rules of the lore. It completely validates a lot of old stuff, and now they have to account for this in the future, which they literally do with a shitty throwaway line. And you're like, how does it make you feel? Like, I feel like this has ruined a lot of shit, a lot of stuff.
Why do you think it makes me feel the way it does, HelloGreedo?
What?
Why do you think that I feel this way?
Did the Star Wars prequels continue the spirit of Star Wars? I mean, shit. An entire generation argued for a very long time that they did not. But, you know, they did.
Alright then.
Okay.
I don't. What is the conversation here? Just like,
You have to
okay.
define the spirit of Star Wars if you're going to make a claim like
Why
that.
even start there?
Hey.
They said no, but it was.
I'm not kneeling before an unchanged painting of what once was. I'm taking a ride on what is. Restricting creative freedom for new fun and inventive ideas because of some wishy-washy, loosey-goosey Star Wars laws sounds like the most soul-killing knife in the heart of a franchise thing I can imagine.
The video title is, Does the Force Awakens title crawl use the wrong font?